Relocating to the recently gentrified neighborhood of Cabrini Green seems to bring about artist block and painter Anthony McCoy. That is, until his fiancée Brianna's brother Troy regales him with the story of Helen Lyle, who abducted a child and tried to hurl it into a bonfire before she was stopped. Intrigued, Anthony begins digging further into the history of Cabrini Green. It's there that he encounters longtime resident William, who owns the local laundromat. William regales Anthony with the story of Sherman Fields, an innocent man whose death William inadvertently caused after he was wrongly accused of selling tainted candy to school children. Hearing how William's spirit is somehow summoned to kill whenever the name Candyman is spoken into a mirror, Anthony is driven to inspiration, depicting Candyman in several artistic pieces. However, other things begin to happen. Not only is Anthony plagued by visions of gruesome murders, but his hand that was recently stung by a bee begins decomposing into something of a hook hand. The fact of the matter is, Candyman is part of a legacy, and Anthony is now at the center of it in so many ways that he can't even imagine. And I've said that name so many times, I think I'm actually in the clear somehow. This is Candyman. So yes, this is not really a remake in the strictest sense of the term. They do delve deep into it. Like I said, it's a sequel. I don't know how much it acknowledges of the other sequels. I do know the story of Daniel Robitaille, but I can't remember if that was told in the first one or the second one. But for the most part, yeah, this definitely just kind of picks up. I think it ignores the other two sequels and just picks up from the first one. And it does take a very unique turn, which I won't quite get into, but yes, I will say this, that Candyman is basically a legacy of African-American men who are wrongly convicted by the authorities and killed by them, and them coming back to take revenge on anyone who says the name Candyman 5 times into a reflection. And so, you know, kind of through that, you know, Anthony, like I said, he gets this, is struck with inspiration. He begins painting various depictions of Sherman Fields getting beaten to death, and he tries to use it as sort of a metaphor for gentrification because, you know, when these old neighborhoods get gentrified, you know, these old ghettos get gentrified, they kick everyone out, and, you know, so all the nice, wealthy white people can move in, and sort of from that it begins, like I said, other things begin to happen. He gets really antisocial. He, you know, gets into a heated argument with his fiancée Brianna. There's kind of a subplot with Brianna's father, who was also an artist who took his own life. And so kind of from there you get, like I said, it kind of delves into that sort of history, and I think it takes a unique turn. Like the original Candyman, it also had kind of a unique twist in the sense that it was sort of the, you know, white people trying to understand things that they really shouldn't, and probably, you know, can never truly, through the Virginia Madsen character that was Helen Lyle. So you see that kind of playing out in sort of an inverse now, where, you know, actually a white art critic sort of comments on, you know, you say this is the gentrification of white people, but in a way, aren't artists also sort of gentrifiers, because they're the things that try to make the ugly beautiful? They're the people who try to make the ugly things beautiful. And it sort of sets him off, and he dares her to, it sets Anthony McCoy off, and he sort of dares her to summon Candyman in the mirror to see what happens, and, well, you can guess what happens. And also, you know, yes, there's the scene in the girls' bathroom at the high school, because a teenager attends this the gallery opening with the Candyman art in it, and is inspired to get her friends to do it as well. That, I mean, that really does not add anything to the plot, except, again, when one of these killings happened, and they talk about, oh, well, they saw this, you know, painting that said "Say My Name," and, you know, had this little piece of paper describing it that you could pick up and basically take home with you. Yeah, so yeah, you're respreading the urban legend. And then, you know, he, at one point, as Anthony is getting increasingly disturbed about this, he actually goes to visit William again, and William explains that, yeah, like I said, Candyman is a legacy, and he says, you know, it all began with this guy, Daniel Robitaille. That's the Tony Todd character from the original one, but then there's this other one from another part, and there's this other one from another. Yeah, basically it's all the same. Like something happens that gets taken out of context. You know, Daniel Robitaille fell in love with a white woman, got her pregnant, and the guy, the woman's father, paid the authorities to take him out. You know, and then there's one who was killed in a race riot. It's always the authorities that are doing it, basically. And you know, the film actually at the end credits has a message about social justice programs. So, again, that sort of takes through everything. I will say this too: a big part of the climax, because the police get involved, involves a lot of flashing lights and strobing effects. So, you know, if you are sensitive to those things, you might not necessarily want to see this movie, but overall I'd say the performances are really good. It's really straightforward. If there's one problem I have, it's the actor who plays Troy. Troy, who's Brianna's brother, the brother of the fiance. He really doesn't add much except to be this really bad gay stereotype. You know, he has knowledge of fine wines, and he has a very effeminate mannerisms. And surprisingly enough, he does not summon Candyman. He's smart enough not to do that. In fact, when it starts happening, he goes, "Don't you fucking..." He basically tries to stop it every time. He says, "Don't you dare do that to me. I'm not doing that." So, there's definitely a unique point to it. But other than that, he doesn't really add too much except to be kind of sarcastic comedy relief. And I will say this too, on the plus side, this does lead into a very unique twist, which I will not get into, but I do think it's pretty well laid in, and how everything plays out into that. And like I said, everything's really well done. It's really well made. It really captures, again, things like urban gentrification in the projects, racial injustice, and a lot of that stuff just plays into these great themes, sets up some really good atmosphere, some really good scary moments. You know, like I said, the only problem I had was, again, the rather blatant gay stereotype, but yeah, you could maybe call that a minor qualm. So I am going to give Candyman 2021, or 2020, because that was originally when this was made, an A. Like I said, it's really well done. It's definitely a good, if you like those slow build horror movies, you are definitely going to like this one.
Some folks don't believe the super fruitiness of Bonkers fruit candy. They learn soon enough. Some folks think Bonkers is gum. They know it's candy now. With this extra fruity inside, Bonkers is so super fruity. Whoops!
Bonkers. Bonks you out.
Some candy!
Artificially flavored.
Okay, trailer time, and it's mostly, well, technically they're all retreads, but there are a couple of our trailers that we haven't had in a while, at least. First off, we have Malignant again. That's the one I talked about in my Suicide Squad review. That's the woman whose imaginary friend is killing people, and she's getting visions of those murders. Then we had Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings again. And then we had James Bond, No Time to Die, which I guess is still slated to come out in November. I mean, Sony's delaying pretty much everything else, so I'm not entirely sure. At least as far as I know, it's still slated to come out. Again, that's our new one that I guess you could say is... Because I know it's one we've had before, but again, we haven't had it in a while. And then we had Guillermo del Toro's Antlers. I don't suppose you remember that. I mentioned that in my Bloodshot review, which was the last theatrical review I had in 2020. So, yeah. This was the Red Band trailer, but I didn't really see anything too graphic. It's another Wendigo story, unfortunately. It just maybe wasn't as intriguing as I thought as it initially looked. Then we had Jackass Forever again, and then we ended on Halloween Kills again. So I am right now tentatively planning to see Halloween Kills, but that does not come out until October. The next movie after this is going to be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And obviously the next video that comes out in between those is going to be the Random Trade Review on Bone Volume 1. And then remember, the next Random Trade Review is not coming until September 15th. because I'm going out of town over Labor Day weekend, and so I won't be able to completely write the script for that. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember, you can help support my channel at patreon.com/SleepyTimeForCat Productions, where you can help request a movie, even if it's something like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog or the next Purge film. I'll review it.